Okay, I continue to tell you the story, how I got the piano. I show you another photo that I love very much when I was in the Gogu farm. That's during the time I went to the city to get my piano. And this is one of my favorite picture. And that time, we haven't have music for really 4 or 5 years. Totally, we didn't have music and practice for 7 years during the Cultural Revolution, and so I asked the leader in the farm. So I got this permission to Beijing, but I have no money and. Don't know where to get the piano. So I went back to my home. That time, my father, he was graduate from American, the CIT and MIT, this big school, back to China to help to build a hydroelectric station in the Yellow River. And that time, he has to go back to Yellow River in Qintongsha to clean the toilet already 3 years. So of course there's no money, no money to buy piano. And that time my mom told me, listen, I hide the 200 China yuan renminbi in a rice bag that you just go get it and to buy a piano. So I was very moved. My mom always supported me, especially in a very difficult time, and how to continue to do the music, and she was always supporting me. So I went to Beijing. I remember in Qianmen, a second-hand store. Finally, I found a piano, a old piano. I mean, made in Western. I don't know which country, maybe Germany or France. The keyboard is there, but when I open it, the string, it's most is missing. But and some of them, the strings not from the real string. It's from the thread, like you're sewing your clothes. So when I try to play, there's a it sounded like this. It's not no music, but the keyboard is there. For me, that's good enough because I really want to play. So I said, okay, get it. So I bought it. Then when I have to think about how to move to the Gogu farm, that was still, I think, how far from Tianjin city, still that's a long way. And from Beijing to Tianjin also is 5 hours by slow train. So I went to Tianjin first because my conservatory was in Tianjin. Later I moved to Beijing. So I found that the conservatory, there was one technician I know. I remember I even invited him to have a Western lunch in Qishiling, the only one Western the cuisine restaurant. But after the lunch, he looked at the piano. He said, "I'm so sorry, I couldn't do nothing with your piano." Gosh, what should I do? I thought, wow, but I still want to move to Gogu. I want to play. So finally, I managed to use the truck and use the wagon with the cow and all this. Finally, I arrived to Gogu Nongchang. And my 200 colleagues and the soldiers, they were waiting to see the first piano arrive. When they saw the piano arrive, they opened, they want to play. But when they play, it was like a pitter. It's like a group of the wild duck flew out from the box. There's no music. So the people, my friends, they all laughed and they left. And I got a very big this disaster happened. Of course, actually, I knew that I don't expect a real piano, but still, my bigger expect the hope in this time got destroyed my hope. So the next day, my eyes become very swollen, but still. my friend helped me put the piano in a ruin that can cover, but it's not in the room. And that time, when I was in China, in Beijing, to find the piano, I also found the score of Yellow River, because that time the Yellow River Concerto just was born, and I got the score with a score. It's written, printed by hand. It's like this. It's very difficult to find the score anymore. This is the first movement. So I found this score of Yellow River Piano Concerto. I came back to the farm. I start to memorize this concerto, four movements in this piano with no tune. It's just like pip-pap, pip-pap, pip. But I did memorize for the movement. Fortunately, after 3 years, in 1973, we all got job back to the city. And that time, there's only 8 like standard arts company. They can come to choose the best students. So that time, the ballet company, the ballet, they have a Philharmonic as well. They ask who can play Yellow River Concerto. We needed the piano students from you, I mean the graduate. So they recommended me. So I got the chance back, the job in a ballet company, but I need to right away get to the audition to see if I can really play. And that time, the leader, Liu Qingtang, he was the dancer, the ballet, the maid dancer, but he has to listen me to audition this Yellow River Concerto. You know, after 7 years, no piano, no music. Fortunately, I got this, I call the Ugly Witch piano. Actually, my beloved Ugly Witch piano. I memorized the Yellow River, so I immediately played, and I passed the audition, and immediately performed with the Philharmonic Orchestra from ballet company. I remember the first performance was to a factory. In that time, I really hope I can introduce this music to more people. That time I couldn't imagine to introduce to the world because I was still in China. So 1979, later on, I left China to San Francisco. I remember I even performed this Yellow River Concerto in Gilroy, in the south of San Francisco. It's called the King of the Garlic City. I remember I love it, that place, because I love garlic so much. And I played with this small orchestra, and they love it. All these Americans, they love to listen to music. They love to know the story, how this Yellow River happened, how our generation to learn the Western music in China at that time. And later on, I moved to Austria and Switzerland because I love Europe as the classical music of the hometown. So that's always my dream, to move to Europe. I got the chance. So when that time I was teaching in Austria and Switzerland, I got a chance, my friend who works, my classmate in a conservatory who works in a Central Philharmonic Orchestra in Beijing. He helped manage this recording, and that time I have some savings, so I was the producer. And I remember we have only 1 day recording because the budget only allowed 1 day. And I was very excited and very nervous. And I remember that morning when the orchestra member came, lots of them were my old teachers or old friends in conservatory. They come to me very, they haven't seen me more, about 20 years. They said, wow, welcome you back. And we heard you left China with 2 daughters along in America, in Western world. How did you grow up? Did you have time to play piano? And can you play this concerto with us? They have lots of questions. Actually, I do have one picture. That's when I left China. This is my passport photo with my two daughters in 1979 end. So it's true, it was difficult, but maybe some other time I can tell you more story about that. But that day I really successfully recorded the Yellow River Concerto. And in that time, and maybe until now still, I was the first or only one female pianist who recorded this concerto with the Philharmonic Orchestra. And this Philharmonic Orchestra was the best in China, so the recording was in a very good result. Finally, yeah, okay, I show you some recording photos as I was playing there. Not very good photo. This was the orchestra, and the conductor was of Hu Bingxu. And finally, we very happy, very excited to record this Yellow River piano concerto. They call me the Lady Yellow River. And then I found a distributor in China, in Taiwan, and also in England. This distributed to the international, the worldwide. And I'm really happy and very proud that after all this difficult period, after that I still had the chance to record and to play this beautiful music. And this Yellow River concerto was from a contact Yellow River from Xinhai, Xie Xihai, the composer. And this music was, I think it had the spirit of our nation, of Chinese and history. Also, they have a beautiful folk songs to describe the beautiful land and the river and the countryside. And also, of course, the big strength, big marching to get to our to work with our enemy and to get win the war. So when I play this concerto, I always get a lot of feeling, very strong. And now in this special virus period, I'm so glad to have chance to share this music with you. And from April, I recorded 44 music. I hope you can enjoy some. And if you want to know more story, I will tell you later on again. But thanks to share with me.